A while ago, I was poking around Netflix and I found this short 17-minute animation called World of Tomorrow, which I watched and then felt depressed and horrified for the next 2 days. I highly recommend it, but because that film is newer and harder to get a hold of, instead, we're going to take a look at another cartoon by the same animator, Don Hertzfeldt. It's called Rejected. The only official upload has text descriptions on top of it, so if you'd like to experience the movie without that, you can easily find a clean one by searching. It's 9 minutes long. Bear in mind as you watch this that it won 27 awards when it came out in the year 2000. This is going to be my first time seeing it as well, even though I've seen plenty of parodies. I never watched the original, so here we go. Well, there you have it, the source of all the internet's memes for the past 17 years. The point of the film doesn't become evident until 7 minutes in, where the text introduces creative burnout, and the whole imagined reality suffers from the artist's mental breakdown. The text on screen about Don Hertzfeldt producing commercial work is not true, it's just a tool for the purposes of the animation, but he's had plenty of companies ask him to do commercials, which he always says no because he hates advertisements. Rejected is actually the result of his temptation to say yes to those companies, produce the worst possible commercials, take the money and run, and see if the commercials ever actually air. So that's the story of what's going on inside the animation. It came at a time when nobody was making this kind of senseless short clip stuff. The whole idea was revolutionary at the time, and it inspired things you might be a little bit more familiar with, like a SDF movie. So let's talk about how Rejected is animated. It would be extremely easy to make on a computer these days, at least up until the end, which would require some more planning and thought. Hertzfeldt drew Rejected by hand on hole-punched animation paper, which you can fit onto a peg bar like this, and that way you know all of your drawings are in the right place. If you shine a light underneath those papers, you can see the previous drawings, which lets you trace it to create the next frame. And that's how you achieve this wobbly look. You redraw the first drawing 3 or 4 times and loop it. The few places where color exists in the animation are also colored by hand. Hertzfeldt left the imperfections caused by sloppy coloring with a red marker. It gives the blood more texture than the clean and solid banana yellow. And just like everything else, the parts with wrinkled paper and turning pages are also made by hand. This is an actual piece of wrinkled paper, and this is a drawing that is actually wrinkled. Now for the interesting part. If you aren't scanning these drawings into a computer, how do you get them into a movie? Well, you take pictures with the camera. The camera is mounted on a post that can move up and down for zooming, and it's pointed at a platform where each animation picture goes. That platform can also move around for panning. This whole setup is called an animation camera stand, or sometimes a rostrum camera, or an animation rostrum. Rostrum. When you realize this whole animation is being shot with a camera, it means that all of the effects at the very end of Rejected are the result of messing with that camera setup. Take this folded piece of paper and expose it for more than one frame and slide the paper around. It becomes blurry and multiplied. A shot like this rabbit guy could be drawn on wrinkled paper, or drawn on a transparent sheet stacked on top of the wrinkled paper. When that paper is moved around over a long exposure, you can actually see places where the bottom of the piece of paper is, and you can even see the hole punch for the peg bar. Animation camera stands are complex and scary looking to artists who have only ever dealt with digital mediums, but this sort of loony setup was key to most animations for almost 100 years. What you had to do to animate something in the 1800s and 1900s is a future episode, or a few. I just noticed you can get World of Tomorrow on Vimeo. Well, shoot.